Welcome back to the Intel Esports Arena in Burbank, California, where we have just saw our first matchup between Renegades and NRG. Honestly, didn't anticipate it to be such a one-sided bout, but we did see NRG pick up the train there. Well, I guess lay down the train. On train. Anyway, we're going into Cbble now, and that's where the action's going to be. Let me go ahead and reintroduce my host here on the Xfinity Analyst Desk. Let's bring in Jordan Gilbert. Let's bring in James McAlay. Did I get better that time?
Oh, it's fine, man. I just like it when you talk to me.
Oh, all right. Well, how about this? You guys talk to me about this. We're going into Cbble. We've got Renegades, and we've got NRG.
Well, we hope to not see another 14-1. We hope to see a little bit more balance here. Like I said, I had an NRG winning train, and I have Renegades showing up a little bit more on Cbble. I think Renegades is either going to lose close or win this game. I'm saying 69 win or a 16-13 loss.
Did you say 69 or 16?
Yeah, I don't
69.
know.
Okay, that was just me then.
Switch to the other camera. We got a special. All right, sorry.
Anyway, before the desk was hijacked by Jordan, Mother Truckin' Gilbert, looking at Cbble, is it fair to say that perhaps there was just a slow start for Renegades on train?
Yeah, so one thing I want to see is Renegades start on T side. So if Renegades start T side, they're going to start hot, right? Usually Cbble can be a T-sided map if you know how to play it, right? It's not a lot of room for aggression. See T side, people kind of know the plays you can make. Every once in a while, you might get away with an early pick A halls if somebody's, non-vigilantly crossing towards A halls without a flash, and you pick them over the smoke mid. But other than that, it's, kind of the isolation plays be long or maybe something drop here and there. So you really you really don't want to be forcing CT side second round if you lose the pistol unless you have a good plan.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking. I've always noticed, I think the reason I'm giving Renegades kind of the favor in this match is they've always had a pretty sound CT. JKS over at A, good opper rotating to them. We'll see how that plays out now without Yam or, but anywho, Nifty now, great opper. See him around the fountain a lot. See him rotating there. Azure, a beast at B along with his boys over there. So they have a great CT side. Like you said, on T side, it's inherently T-sided if you could just kind of play slow and control the nade and utility usage, as we've watched time and time again. Teams like Navi just literally wait till CTs have no plat control, push him back, hit A, push him back, hit B.
Yeah, I think if you were to compare the level of CT success of Renegades versus other similarly tiered teams, you're right. Their CT side Cbble is actually better than the comparable teams. And one thing that I think is of note about that is I think that the way Cbble CT side plays actually fits Ustilo's type. Right, so Ustilo likes that kind of erratic, really whippy plays. If you watch him, like you said, he's kind of polarizing, right? He either makes a really sick play or it's kind of meh, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like Cbble,
he has
right?
a reason, but it's not always going to work out.
Yeah, so I think he performs well on Cbble.
Yeah, and so we'll see. I don't know. I think T side is going to be kind of the deciding factor, as you said. Who is the better T side? I haven't watched much NRG lately on Cbble. Daps used to be a good caller. Their CT side, I think, is where NRG might fall apart. Maybe Cirque, your boy, the Bulgarian Thunder, will come.
What
Thunder?
First of all, what is it with the dualies?
Can you just stay out of this?
He's so. What do you mean? What is it? We saw that clip.
Dualies.
We saw that clip. He's got the sick skins. He's got the sick aim. This guy's he's just trying to let people have a chance by using the dualies.
Got the sick moves.
Yeah, everything about him is sick nasty.
All
Fresh
that
clothes.
aside, they're going to need him on CT side to make a presence to the off. If he's sitting back connector and his team's getting teeter-tottered on all game, they're going to lose. And I think Renegades knows how to teeter-totter Cbble. I think Cbble is a map like Cash. Renegades are good at both those maps. You rely on some basic to have a good T side, and on CT side, it's pretty straightforward how you have to play.
Well, the teeter-totter we're going to look at right now are the Betway odds. Now, what are you guys anticipating? How do you feel this one lands? Oh, wow.
Wow. I would not have called that. So, as we were saying, we are both kind of leaning a little bit towards the Renegades camp on this one. But NRG, kind of a little bit more of the household name this season in terms of, their win-loss ratio.
Yeah.
But, it is kind of even at the end of the day. Renegades kind of have that, tutelage on Cbble, that's kind of their map. People know it, so.
Yeah, I think Betway is at least the decent way this time, right? So I think they got closer. I like it.
It's
Betway,
definitely not the wrong way.
Definitely not the wrong way. Maybe the midway. I don't know what to say anymore, but no, I think it's going to be pretty close.
Yeah, I think ultimately.
You got my predictions right. Everyone heard that. I got the first one right. I just want to make sure everyone knows.
State it clearly for the judge and jury, please.
Well, I called the train game, and I said it'd be under 9 for Renegades. For this game, I said if NRG wins, or Renegades wins, it's going to be 16-9. If they lose, it's going to be 16-13. I'll take payment through PayPal. It doesn't matter. But as long as my ego's inflated, that's all that really matters at the end of the segment.
Yeah, you know, I think I saw that in the notes somewhere here.
I like the word segment.
Anyway, look, so James, just how turbulent of a start could this be for Renegades if Nifty and Azure don't come online?
Yeah, so Azure is kind of like their drop portal opener.
3v5 if they didn't come online.
That would be insane, wouldn't it?
Yeah, let's stick to the brass tacks here. 3v5 is not going to be a good start. That's actually
some teams
crazy
are trying
to bring that up. Yeah.
Did you think about it?
Yeah, let's not go there. It's yeah.
Don't want to hate.
No, seriously though, Azure is basically their drop can opener, right? He's the guy who's going down drop. He's actually really, really good at going out the window side. Right, so a lot of people are kind of afraid of going out the window, right, without somebody like doing the weird bounce flash from top drop for them. But he kind of has like a nose for the timing on how to do it, and I think Nifty's going to be huge on the op for them as well. Like I mean, we saw them with their one round on T side, right on train. He had that sick clutch, right, from top blue with the molly over the top. Nice, fast, whippy.
I think him and Kusta are really starting to kind of edge their way into being potentially top operators. Love you, Tyler. Love you. I'm just saying, these guys are coming at you. They're coming for you.
They're edging towards you, Tyler. You're still that guy. You're still hungry.
All these operators are edging, Tyler.
Hold on. Talk about edging. We'll talk about edging.
We're going to edge into the next segment.
when we're off the air. But let's bring in the commentators now and let's kind of get their thoughts. Guys, how are you feeling? This one's going to end up on Cbble.
Hopefully not on edge.
I think just like with the Betway odds last time, I feel like I hit the nail on the head. We've got, you know, it's definitely going to be one of these teams to win in half the time.
Yeah,
like either like by the end of the game, one of them should have the dub.
There we go.
Yeah, it's correct.
Yeah,
I guess.
one team will win this game. I almost guarantee it. It's gonna
I like the conviction. Yes.
But we did get Jordan's predictions, so you know I'm gonna have to ask you guys for your actual predictions here on Cbble.
I'm not an analyst. I just don't want to. I'm not.
Stay in your lane.
Thank you. I'm respecting my role.
John, we're gonna need to call you out there.
I'll say NRG again on this one. I think they're gonna take it 2-0 after what we saw last
month. All right, let's check it out.
Well, you might be wrong, but you're going to be the one to deliver us that if you are. So go ahead.
Start T-side Renegades.
All right. Thank you very much, Stunna. It is almost time to jump into this matchup here now. Should be ready in any second. Obviously, a bit of a poor showing for Renegades on their first half back on trade, but they did recover nicely once they got onto the CT side. And, of course, we saw NRG's own issues showing up on the T side amongst that second half as it took them as long as they did to close out there and eventually just did it with Deagles.
It is really interesting, the fact that if they, like the other team started on T side, what would have happened? Because it didn't seem like they had any semblance of a T side. One an eco to end it, and apart from that, 14-1 half, they had a pistol and an eco to close it out. So we don't know that they're even good on T side. So maybe if they did start T, it would have been a different ball game. It could have been the other way around.
I will say that I think Cbble is like a tremendously better map for the Renegades, in my opinion.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I feel like across the board, both on T and CT side, they're going to be much stronger here. So I think hopefully I'm right about this time. Is that whole like 50-50 split thing holds more true here.
One thing we're seeing that's a meta that's evolving on Cbble is to have the 2 ops on CT side. We're seeing like Taco used to op on B sometimes. He's opping on B a lot, as well as falling on A. So. And you know, you'd think like SK, if they're going to do it, then it's probably something that's like a lot of teams are probably going to start trying it. And I think with Cirque and Ange both very capable, depending on if they're split up on sites. I'm not exactly sure what their setup is right now, but if they do maybe double up on the CT side, if that's going to be effective, or because if you can get away with a double op, the great thing is you don't have to like spend too much time thinking about rotations.
Yeah.
The three rifles in the middle, worry about drop, or maybe rotate if your opera dies. But apart from that, are just kind of like there to support with their aim, but you don't really have to overstack anything when you have 2 operas. Op almost counts for 2 people on a site, or that's how you think about it when you think about rotations.
All right, guys. Well, looks like it is time to start off the match. So let's see, as Renegades, unfortunately for them, have to start off on the T side once more. But we would hope with a new map, they're going to be a little bit more well-prepared to play this time. And we'll see a much stronger T side as a result of that. But as we jump into it here, both teams buying out. Pretty standard buys for the most part. Renegades going a little bit heavily on utility. There are 2 players buying it, so they get 2 smokes in that single Molotov instead of just the 4 armor buys. Meanwhile, NRG do go down the normal route there. They do end up having the 4 armor and 1 guy with a kit and flashbang buy.
I love doing the strat and matchmaking. you wait for someone to push. but they don't bite. They do, however, see the bomb. So I'm curious if NRG have an adjustment based off this.
Well, they already have 3 towards this site too, which that in itself is a little bit uncommon to start to see that. But now as they expect it more, they go in. I believe one of them got dinked, and yep, Nifty. He's going to be able to finish off the job, taking down Fugly. Cirque still well alive though at 73 HP, and he took down Azur, so it just ends up being a quick 1-for-1 trade to start off the round. And the other 2 from NRG still sit back, patiently waiting on that A site, although it looks like Cirque is going to push up towards that corner where the high wall is. It usually boosts someone up on. Let's try and wait and see if they continue to push out through long A.
Man, that was such an interesting thing that happened. Cirque just played that like an opera, where he took the angle with the USP, went for 1 shot, and then after his teammate, that just fell off, which you never see. You always see someone just like trying to bite off more than they can chew, and instead now he's playing with his teammate on A.
Well, as they do start to roll up to the site, there's one flashbang that's going to be great. They're not paying attention to the ramp, but all those Yustillo given all the opportunities that he needs to close out on a kill. Cirque, thankfully for himself, did fall back to the site, but is caught pushing up way too aggressively. Yustillo is going to be able to shut him down, and all of a sudden, Renegades have a massive advantage in the 4v2. Daps hunting for something, but he's stuck in this corner in heaven. He's even going to be pinched in a second, too. So he just takes a bit of a risk in rushing back through that smoke. He has Breezy sitting on the outside of the door, so he's pretty safe to do that. Breeze misses that head. That's popped up just on top of the shed, however. Some more damage being done to him, and for the most part, NRG can't even get themselves out onto this site, let alone actually win the round. It looks like Daps is already falling back to save since he has at least the kit, and I think Breeze is going to do the same in a moment here since he has armor to play with. The round itself definitely not going to go anywhere. Daps more so looking for exits than he is to save, as we do see Breeze eventually going down. And yeah, on the outside here, Daps just going to try and take anyone out that should push him, and mainly saving that defuse kit.
Solid round from Renegades. They did everything pretty standard. Pushed up to A side together. Were able to go 1-for-1 on their trades. I think, again, I really appreciate how Cirque played it, but after he got mollied out on A side and was alone, it was kind of difficult for him. Decided to do something somewhat YOLO and push up to the right side of APC, but that was because he was flushed out of a very good spot. It's like when you get called out in that position, you feel very uncomfortable because you think, oh, the team knows exactly what we're trying to do. I think there we can see, you know, him fighting lower A would have made more sense because he wasn't exposing himself to both lower and upper, but oh, that was actually Cirque's second person to die, but all these kills looking super good. You still with the double entry after they get into the site, particularly important. And now a full-on deagle buy from NRG with Daps, a pistol, and 2 flashes, and the kit of faith.
Yeah, and the kit, remember, does get carried over back to the last round, so they do save that there. So it is a pretty light buy from Daps as well, as they do look to save here instead of buying aggressively into the second round. And they'll catch the first kill, too. A&J up on the step. Doesn't take any damage either.
He used the AK to do that. Oh boy.
Yeah. Did work out.
Yeah.
Now A&J gets the AK.
You really think you'd want to have like your AK in a tradable position, especially if he's going to push all the way out of long. So that's maybe disconcerting for them.
And now going up to the site here, Renegades are going to try to push back in, but there's quite a few players set up in difficult positions to catch the bat. Daps and Cirque nicely done with their setup. They take down 2 before we even see a trade from Nath there, as he's going to be able to pick up 1. They do spot the player on the backseat. That's Breeze with his deagle, but Breeze, we've already seen him be dangerous with it before. This time, however, Nifty's going to catch him, but he doesn't even have the gun out and ready to draw there. Now Nifty throwing an 8 out, looking for a little bit more damage if he can find it. Just trying to hold control here, but he is stuck in a 1v3 alone without the bomb, too. Thankfully, he has plenty of time, just over 40 seconds remaining on the clock here. So he's going to take a little bit of time to sneak around, see if he can take out at least 1 more player before he goes back to retrieve that, and ultimately risks his life doing so. He'll decide to risk his life first, though, and when doing that, A&J now has the AK in hand, shuts down Nifty, and there's the upset. And he goes right into chaos at 1-1.
Nifty's quite the clutch player. I definitely held my breath as he tried to make his way through that 1v3, but ultimately, NRG played it just as well as they played the first half and half of the round. Here's a kill with that forfeited AK, and again, you know, you think they made their bed here, and maybe they think, okay, well, we've done that a million times. We put the AK out at long B. It's like, why'd you do that in the first place? Because on paper, that doesn't make any sense. So, quite curious about that. Now the AK in the hands of A&J, who's now aggressive at long B, where he had originally killed his target, who got aggressive by himself, and they're getting control of an area that it seems like Renegades want us to push in too quickly.
And NRG also is going to set themselves up really well economically, because that wasn't even a full-on force. They all, I don't think anybody bought armor that last round. They all just bought deagles, so they should have had about maybe like 1,000, somewhere between like $700 to $1,000 left over for most of them coming off that last round too. So that's already going to build them up a little bit extra. Renegades, importantly, too, decide not to aggressively rebuy into the round afterwards. They do, you know, pick up a couple pistols, but that's pretty much it. It's a very light buy besides that.
Good point.
So now Renegades are getting ready to deploy. Pretty much just a straightforward B execute here for these guys. And NRG are set up with 2 players in the site. They've got Fugly that can quickly push in through windowsill. They do have a full 2-man commitment out on A, so it is going to be a little bit light on defense here for B to start things off. But they should expect quick rotates to be on the way here, especially with NRG seeing all that great support flash too, coming out from his teammate further back in the site. That'll shut down at least 2 more players that are trying to push through Broken here, and Azur isn't even given a chance. Breeze just runs right up on him, shuts it down, and NRG will take control early on here.
I love how the European Ange actually just like falls off the angle off of Long after taking those fights, and then Breeze, North American, jumps up and takes a duel to his face.
I got this guy.
Yeah, I got this. Send this round early, but it wasn't a lot to lose. Actually, maybe it was because he had the UMP, so there's a kill reward getting funneled into it, and some good team play from that regard. But a great flash, as you mentioned, to kick it off. So Renegades get that stuff right in their face in the middle of their execute, move into long B control with just Eagles, not much utility, and we'll probably just try to work picks in the situation.
Molly as well should burn Ustillo out, and it's actually going to be a great position. The Molly, there we go, now it spreads. It took a while. He's probably a little bit upset that it took that long to do that. So that was a head on Molly, but he regardless gets the kill. I believe a teammate of his does some damage to JKS too, bringing him down to 37 HP. As he is forced back, this gives more room for the CTs to push him. You can see JKS try to abuse that a little bit as he's jumping up, trying to spot for intel. He's not making noise, at least as far as we could hear from Breeze's perspective, so he is still okay to do that. But Nifty, meanwhile on the other side, he got hit down to 4 HP. Might have actually been Deagle too, so he's going to be very low here. He decided to just molly that off. NRG playing things, with the exception of the B side over here towards A, playing it very passively, just playing it onto the site. Supports of the B guys that are trying to push in and really force Renegades' hand to go towards the other site. At the moment, that plan is working beautifully, as that is exactly what Renegades is doing. Yeah,
there's nothing we talked about, like the teeter-tottering. Sometimes you can do that with just showing some presence on the other side of the map. Nice adjustment from Cirque to get those 2 kills. That M4 is also in a pretty safe place. I think there's not going to be a way for Renegades to recover it. Instead, they were going to go back to B, and as they rock it, Baris is already pushed, sees the bomb, falls back off of having very low health, a kit and a Deagle and armor to try to hang on to, leaving JKS in a pretty precarious spot.
Yeah, they've already lost 2 players here, so losing, like a 3rd or a 4th is going to be a little bit dangerous for their economy. So Breeze is going to try to save, and it's a good thing maybe does. AJ lines up a great shot there, catches JKS from behind the box, and closes out on the round.
Yeah, well done. Good amount of money to have a full buyout. There's one player with 6,700, and again, this is Cirque like spotting long first and then readjusting immediately to get that kill. And it seems like they must have dinked him, killed him quickly, but he still made the most of his life. And now Cirque is going to be the first man to pick up the op. Still curious if at any point Ange will pick up another, but here it is. Him and a teammate will probably try to boost over a smoke, or maybe go for the dry peek. Nifty doesn't capitalize. Will he re-peek? His teammate crosses, so he goes for the shot. That could have actually been a dangerous position for his teammate to cross in that situation, but nonetheless, we move on.
And now Circuit's ready to hold off here. If the flash messes him up, he's not going to be able to spot anything, nor support his teammate. Quick flick to find Ustillo, but unfortunately he's peeked out way too wide, so Nifty's there to trade it immediately. Still giving Renegades the advantage here. Breeze going to look to change that, though. So he gets over here to the long edge corner. Right by the wall here. He's going to try to hold off. That smoke should fade in these seconds, too, so he's kind of going to be trapped here because of the aggressive positions that we now see from Renegades. When the smoke fades away, he's going to peek back out. The other side of the map, NRG is pushing in through Broken Wall. He's going to get a kill. Breeze got one as well, and he's still alive, guarding long A. I think NRG realized what is happening after they killed the player that had pushed aggressively up through platform into those B halls. It has left the B site open for the taking, and now the remaining Renegades members move in to take control, plant the bomb, trying to collect this out. JKS just caught in the open, though, and stops to take that fight. Fugly will pick up the first kill. Naf trades them both back and wins the round for the Renegades.
Wow, it just makes it look easy, too. The quick readjustment back to the other site. Overall, it seemed like they had an advantage moving into that portion of the rounds. I mean, they had the good early long control where they went 2 for 1 versus the op and the rifle. Cirque hitting a nice flick as he's been doing, but it wasn't quite enough. And then somehow the round falling apart. Nifty picking it back up and putting it back together. Sick stuff.
So that does still allow for NRG to rebuy completely into this next round here. But I think after this is when they are going to start getting a little bit low on money. Nifty, a good molly, but he's not checking for the peak, however, so Daps is allowed to just barely creep away. One more tick on that molly and he would have been dead as he survives it with 2 HP and now hugs the corner, hoping that he has his teammate supporting him when they do push out.
Yeah, tough spot. He can't fall back if there's a player like on the right side. Cirque has line of sight, and so he can hold this down for him. Yes, and there he works his way back out of there. Doesn't want to get pre-nated. That would be a waste of his life. Instead, we'll force them to clear it if they ever do come back take, because he was last spotted there, which is nice, and now he has a new spot. So that's a little bit more time delayed, and RNG have actually moved back to B. So Flash will go in. Even though Daps has 2 HP, might not seem to, or won't seem to have such a huge influence on whether or not this round falls apart. Instead, it's going to be down to the 3 guys holding B. Flash comes out, nobody spotted from Ange, and I think NRG might be worried about A at this moment.
Yeah, Renegades are shifting their focus back over towards A, though, since they already had done that damage to Dap, so they know that they have to be relatively weak on the setup there. NRG also are pressed very heavily into B2, so rotates are going to take a little bit more time than they would usually take if they were playing default spots. Only about 2 to 3 seconds, but those 2 or 3 seconds can make a very large difference if they're not cautious about it. Renegades still also have one player trying to lurk towards Broken too, so that should delay the rotates. Actually, not anymore, as they did find JKS and took him down. But now Cirque, who goes away at the wrong moment here, but he also gets himself to a safer position. He's caught the peak, but he's unscoped for it, and now misses the shot, which gives Nifty an opportunity to take down Cirque. All that's here defending the site right now is Daps, and he peeks a little bit too early too. Nifty just shutting everything down in that site. Finally, he gets traded by Fugly, but it's a small token at this point, as it's only ANJ. He's in a 1v3. He's already got the first kill, and is now going to roll up to the site, quickly smoking off the right side here a little bit. So there's no chance of him getting picked off. That's not really going to be a threat that he has to deal with, however. The route he's taking is going to be a little bit interesting as he creeps through the door up towards Heaven. But currently, no one is watching towards
Oh my God.
He goes up. He's got a free pick on a nap. Does he expect his opponent to be right below? No! And unfortunately switched over to get over that wall a little bit easier. And as such, Ustilla will take him down and win it for the Renegades.
He jumped the gun a little bit. He was super convinced that the player was at long when he could have totally been into Heaven. There was no information to tell him otherwise, considering how late he came up ramp. And yeah, realized it kind of as he jumped out. Would have been something of a free round as Naf picked an awkward spot to try to fight from. Actually, you could see Naf there watching long, so that tells ANJ that there wasn't somebody on the other side of stables, which is quite curious. And he potentially could have been watching a ramp, I suppose, but yeah, it was realized a little bit too late. Now NRG are saving. They have ANJ with just a flash. They've done good on these ecos before, but instead of just 1 AK, it's 4 for Renegade. So much less of a chance to actually throw this away. And
no deagles this time for NRG either, so no long-range pickoffs. At least there shouldn't be, unless someone goes crazy with a P250 here. Breeze in an interesting spot as well, as he's going to be... Where is he?
He's on his teammate.
Oh, is he on? No,
no, he's not.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that little part there.
Oh, it was like I counted 5 on radar, but I realized ANJ is actually at B.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out myself. So he is going to be up on top of this little cubby, this little corner inside a suicide room. So he should be relatively safe, and in fact, JKS is going to bypass it, which leaves him open. His teammate's already gone all the way up ramp, by the way, so they can just pinch onto B if they wanted to right now because they have all that control, and there's such a big stack at A long. But unfortunately for NRG, Renegades is walking right past this. NRG is not really going to be given a chance to punish this at all.
This is terrifying. They just have no idea exactly where they are probably assuming it's a B stack, which might be an interesting thing for Renegades, but JKS makes it a lot easier to deal with. It gets information on 3 players, knows that it's a long stack now. They haven't spotted anybody else, so they're probably thinking maybe there's 4, up to 4 there. They'd be right about that.
Yeah, there's not really great opportunities presented for these remaining 3 on NRG to do much anyway here as they quickly smoke off long with the loss of their teammate. That'll take quite a long time for them to get back in, and obviously they don't have any kits or anything like that. In fact, the CTs just spoke it off themselves and are now going to fall back since they have that AK to carry over. At least a bit of a token here. Nazar, he's going to try to shut both of them down and does it with class.
Oh, there we go. And he recovers the AK, which is a big deal. Ooh, and upgrades the pistol, because why not? There is enough money to buy an op. Fugly has that income. Will he do it? It's a big question, I think. Yeah, we definitely know NRG like their ops, and for good reason. It seems like they put them to good use. So far, Renegades have looking not so shabby whatsoever. They've, after that eco, survived, recovered, moved on to win 2 rifle rounds, which is a big deal. And now we'll have another one to go up against in round 8. The setup for NRG, a couple of early counter nades, kind of anticipating to have to deal with a long V rush at the very least, but there won't be anything like that just yet. Instead, lower A control is being fought for. 3 CTs at A.
Quite a few T's inside of that mid connector too, trying to play it out. Cirque almost being given an opportunity to shoot over here long again, but misses it. What's even worse, he loses his teammate in suicide. JKS takes him down. Cirque waiting for the repeat from Nifty, but doesn't decide to wait there for that long. He'll fall back, giving Renegades control of A long and an early kill.
Did Cirque take a shot initially? What did he get? Flash? Did he take a shot?
I think he did, yeah.
He might have, yeah. Yeah, if he did, I guess I could see why he got scared. Otherwise, he had a pretty good angle to deal with that. There's actually no ops on Renegades. If he knew that, he would almost certainly just hold on to that, and has now fallen back and been pretty passive. It's pretty responsibly minded for a 17-year-old kind of star player, or at least one that's been picked up for kind of his individual skills.
He's still getting hit a little bit there when he tries to peek out towards the platform, and that's just going to give them the idea of how aggressively NRG are playing to defend that one. So it is going to allow them to kind of ease in towards drop there. They take great control. They've now splintered Fugly and ANJ, but Fugly's actually going to be first to strike here. He finds Azur, takes him down, and now Ustillo is trapped a bit, but this does open up a way for Renegades to quickly go up and take a platform control, and then they can plan on that site and worry more about having to deal with their teammate that's stuck in drop later. And that's exactly what's going on. They move in, they take it. Cirque and the others moving back over into mid connector. It's a little bit of confusion from the positioning on NRG right now, but ultimately Daps is also sneaking back in from A long right now, and I don't think anyone is going to suspect him to push him from this position. The positions are so odd, but as Daps moves in, he misses his opportunity to take down Naf, and Naf himself will return the favor, knocking out Daps. JKS just tapping away, but missing as well there. Fugly getting 2 quick kills. Ustillo coming in on a flank. He takes down 1. Nifty finds the last 2, and there you go. I guess Renegades win that round.
They knew Ustillo was there. They definitely, the way that they reacted, they knew that they heard him outside drop window. But instead of trying to kill him first, they just like slowly avoided him, or just hoped that they'd see him on his way out, but they realized they would have had to deal with him as he flanked. So, knowing that he's in drop means that he can only exit into B site or out the window. They just had to go and, I don't know, they wasted so much time on the after plant when they could have just like dealt with that right away, moved in afterwards, not end up getting flanked by that guy that they had 3 people to work on, or there to deal with him.
Yeah, so now NRG to send up on another eco here. 3 Deagles to work with. Nifty already lining up a quick kill against ANJ. More to come potentially, as they do still have the 2-man set up close up. Oh, nicely done from Naf there. Jumping around, spraying like crazy, but he does bring down a player quite low, and Nifty's going to seal the deal. Takes down Breeze, so it's just Fugly sitting here. Quickly we see Cirque rotating in. Fugly spamming away with the Deagle, hoping for something. Not going to get it, but Cirque, oh, he missed his chance too here. Actually, he might still be able to get Naf. It's got him quite well, but he too is also down at 7 HP. Naf goes for the quick switch over to the Glock, finishes him off. And these last 2 just trying to survive, trying to at least get a kill or 2 here to make it worth it. But nope, nothing will be found. Renegades survive with all 5 alive.
Really putting their feet in the ground right now. Renegades are finding their footing, and it's going to be a pause. I don't know. It probably is NRG. Yeah, calling attack at this point. Kind of a messy round leading into that eco round where they just got cleaned up. NRG, or Renegades are starting to get a lot of money together, which is a big deal. At this point, we're getting to the point of the half where it's just about like, it's clearly like a pretty sloppy fist fight in the sense that like both teams can win rifle rounds, but who's going to win all those free ecos? Because those free ecos are gonna make the difference. They're going to separate one team from the other if you're going to split rifle rounds more often than not.
So attack pause is called by NRG after I believe what is now a 5-round streak from the Renegades here after they won the pistol but then lost the 2nd round. NRG did claim the 2 after that. And then, yeah, there we go. It's been a 5-round streak so far. So
that money it's just crazy. They've got 5K on 3 players, 10K on 1 almost.
NRG is now on the full losing bonus at the very least. They don't have to worry about saving so much anymore. As you can see, they can get these big buys going. And it includes the op for Cirque. We haven't seen that double op set up in a while. It looks like we aren't going to be seeing it anytime soon again, as they aren't able to set it up just yet. But obviously, full utility and everything is probably going to help them out quite a bit too. Renegades have been trying to get a little bit more aggressive in the early rounds, especially towards like long A and mid connector.
Anticipating that if they do lose 1 or 2 players really early, that they try to save, and a lot of the rounds hinging on that. Because at this point, if NRG do like lose a round, but they also lose everybody, they will have a full buy in the following rounds, but they won't have any bank left over. So it's going to hurt their chances even more if they don't have enough money for full armor, for Molotovs, and for kits.
And Cirque really hungry for this first kill here, as he is peeking pretty wide too for that box, trying to find the player on the left side. Behind the other boxes towards the back of the long B approach. But it doesn't look like he's going to be able to get anything. The smoke comes in. That should allow for his other teammate to exit out of here if he wants to. In fact, no, he goes for the peek. The molly gets tossed out there. That's going to send Cirque into the open. Not much of a damage connection on Cirque. He knocks out 20 of his HP, but now in comes the execution. And NRG did make the mistake of having 3 on A, so it's going to be very light defense here. Breeze is trying to hide within the smokes as more rotates do work their way over here. At the moment, we're not seeing any additional kills. There's some damage being done, but most of it's being done against the CTs. Breeze and Daps both pick up kills, but both of them have already been traded by members of the Renegades, with JKS and Ustillo picking up additional frags here. Just Fugly and Daps left alive now, and they're just trying their best to push their way into the site, but they have no utility or anything left on the CT side to support it. So it all comes down to Fugly, and again, he won't get much done.
They did a great job making that confusing. First of all, it was the initial setup from NRG at 3A. I'm not sure what made them think that that was going to be the best thing to do, but we did see Renegades try to take long A control before they executed B on a previous round, so maybe thought if we're looking at patterns, we'll see that, okay, well, if they're not going to go for a straight-up B rush, that they're probably going to test the waters at A first. We might be able to get a kill there first, maybe get some information. Instead, however, Renegades avoided that whole ordeal, went right for the B hit. That ended up being the smart thing to do, and another round on the board on T side was puts NRG on a save. They didn't save anybody as well. The rotators dying immediately after the fact, and I think it was because Breeze lasted so long on the B side that they didn't think about saving, and he ends up being one of the last ones to die, even though they don't have much of a chance to win at that point.
Yeah, you could see Breeze trying to posture up for like some massive multi-frag if he could jump out from his statue position there, but he just never got it going, unfortunately. I think he got 1 kill in that last round.
Yeah, that's one of the situations where like he's stuck in a position where he wants to find a kill earlier. Like he's hoping they come into his crosshair, but they're kind of all avoiding him and getting really close. And maybe this round gets interesting.
Caps getting at least 1 kill as he finishes off Ystillo, but Azure does trade that out. Now as they roll up this 4-man stack towards B, becomes a big mistake again from NRG positionally speaking. They're all stuck behind the wall. They could try to funnel towards Heaven, but that's just going to be essentially funneling them even more into another trap here. So there's not a lot to get going here, even though they do have the Deagles. They had a 4 nade stack too, but it seems like most of that was already used earlier on to go towards a platform there. Azure, unfortunate spread. Just pushing back outside of the shed, but still not a big deal. As NRG, like I said before, really cannot do anything at this point. Breeze probably going to save. So are the rest of these guys, as there's just no way to get back into that site. Yeah,
that's going to be tough to work their way in. Now, this is the kind of ideal situation they want a round where they're going to lose, so they have 4 alive, but those players have been smoked out of their choke point, and they can actually just hang on to their guns. So we can see Renegades not even chasing. In this situation, Renegades aren't chasing for a couple of reasons. One being that there's nothing worth chasing after, but wow, nice shot from Mazur on that peak to make sure they don't get caught on their way out.
Yeah, the only thing maybe ticking down would be Deagles and a couple nades for the most part. Breeze's armor are the most redeeming things to eliminate here. So even though some players are sitting on max cash going into this next round here, it's not really going to be worth it to try and knock out those guns. So just let them save it, since they're going to be rebuying fully into this next round anyway.
Yeah, at best you get some kill reward. At worst you give up 5 to 6 to 7K, and with enough rounds left in the half that it's worth saving for. So here's A&J and Cirque finally on the double op setup. That was kind of like not sure that they would use, but kind of hoping, I guess, they would try it. Now we can kind of see Cirque over at long A with Daps. He's been in this position before. He's gotten a lot of his kills off the back of insane flicks as opposed to like where he wanted to get them in his setup, which is kind of interesting. Like he's actually gotten those kills mostly in his fallbacks. But pushed up here at long A allows one man, potentially JKS, to get away with like a heinous lurk. If he decided to walk up A ramp in this situation, that would be a free B split.
Now, for the other 4 here, still looking for an opportunity to push out the Renegades. This is onto the B ramp, but JKS goes hunting first off. Cirque with a nice peek. Does actually take down JKS, though, so that's all of the A pressure gone for the time being for the Renegades. Besides that, they are split up with their players waiting in the B halls. Not pushing out just yet with the Molly going in. It looks like he still is going to start to push forward, taking a little bit of control. Down he goes into the hot spot here now. The rest of his team are going to get prepared to execute just a 2-2 split in drop and platform. NRG are set up to defend this properly this time. They are going to have to quickly move those other 2 players over from A, however, as Renegades have been on point with their entries, although it seems like that's not going to be the case this time. A&J and Breeze, and A&J again, all hitting their marks, and he flicks it. Fugly does finish it off there. But it looks like A&J made the connection.
Damn, man, he did. He hit him through the, yeah, it seemed like it was like 50 damage. That was pretty sick. This is fast. I mean, that's like a pretty decent shoulder peek right there. That's as good as it gets for Nifty. He didn't see out. He gave his body up, and that was just like a good reaction. And here, he
didn't get an assist though.
I'm pretty freaking sure he didn't get an assist. Yeah.
Yeah, it might have just just looked like the timing aligned.
He hit him, Blue.
Yeah, but like he would have gotten an assist there, right?
No, I mean it could have been 40 damage.
Oh yeah, that's true, I guess.
I'm not sure what the threshold is. It might be less than 40, but it really did look like he hit him. I just want to believe that he hit him, okay? So
I mean, it looked like it. No, it definitely looked like it.
All right.
I was just questioning it because he did get the assist.
And if he didn't, it was on him. So
just a little bit too late. But now moving into this next round, obviously both teams still at full capacity, as we were seeing Renegades 8 players at max money just last round, so there's no reason why they wouldn't buy into this one. Daps up with the Crow's Nest there, striking first, but he doesn't stay alive for very long. Nat will trade him back out just a second later, taking him out of the fray and bringing it down to a quick 4v4 fight here. As it looks, Renegades are still going to push through towards A-Long, at least take the control, try to knock anybody that might be surviving past that smoke. We're yet to see that if they're going to stay here or if they're going to quickly rotate over towards B, however.
now that long control's taken, Renegades have options. Under a minute left on the clock. Rotations don't get harder than this for the CT side. However, because you can kind of play one person A, it makes it an interesting problem for the Ts, who can figure like, well, does that mean that we go B? Or, well, in this situation, NRG actually overstacking even when they have 4 players alive. Typically, you know, you at best play one person A when you have 4 players alive. So they're really, for some reason, convinced that Renegades love this site, and they'd be correct about it.
So there's Nifty nicely aligning himself with a shot, but Fugly pushes in, finds himself control over mid-connector, so that's going to be a nice little angle that he has to try and push back in. NRG do have a lot to work with here on a retake. The problem is they do basically give over the A site to the Renegades, let them push back up, and now they're going to have to work from a retake angle. They also do not have a whole lot of utility to retake this site with. Thankfully, there's a few smokes that have already been set up. Breeze specifically, as you can see now. Oh, abuse this one. JKS getting punished in a big way for making that peak, and now Naf just in the open, but he's able to defend himself against the push from Fugly, taking him down, evening the score back out again. Naf very low, and Breeze looking for options here, but ANJ moves in, takes down Naf. Nifty hits that shot though and brings it down to a 1v1. It is going to be a pistol, however, that shuts him down as ANJ closes out on Nifty and wins the round for NRG.
Sick, very interesting 2vx situation there. Nice kill from Ange in those last moments. Also a good kill from Nifty to almost make that a viable round. So that's the great recovery for NRG. Very important, obviously, to stop the bleeding finally. 2 ops again, and because they hung on to the first one, they're able to buy what feels like just the first op of the round. So 3 around the differential. Renegades finally lose one after a great streak, but even in that one, we're so close to winning that NRG got to be worried about the fact that they are potentially on the horizon of a reset.
And now another slow start to a round, but Fugly just going right up on top. He did have a flash inside there, so he was thinking he was going to be safe to peek that. However, Nifty, I believe, was unpeaked on the flash connected, so he was able to swing out really quickly. Punish the push from Fugly, and give Renegades a really 5v4 advantage to play off of here. And it looks like they may attempt it again with ANJ. Is he going to look to do this here now? Nifty's trained on this. He's ready to take this shot if ANJ jumps up here.
Oh, he wants to. Yeah.
That's a big risk if he takes it, even with him while he's on the ground.
Yeah, I think for him, it's just like, is the risk worth it? Because if he does get a kill, and Nifty's being so patient. Oh, wow.
You can see he switches over to the knife just to do a quick shoulder peek there, just to make sure of how many players are actually in that position. And now moving in, he actually does make the connection on the Azure, but Justillo, sitting right behind him, is able to fire back really quickly and stop him from doing any more damage. So for the time being, Renegades still hold a man advantage. Cirque missing his initial shot as the smoke starts to bloom as well. Cirque's going to have a hard time spotting any of these guys. Finds a position though, and also quickly shuts down the current offer for the Renegades. Nifty takes him out of the play. That's going to send JKS and Naf right back into the B halls over to the other site. NRG yet to realize this, but they should figure this out in the next couple of seconds.
Yeah, they should. The smokes, though, are just kind of guising their fallback and have bought enough time that NRG would think, all right, they might fall back, but they wouldn't do it yet. Oh, no, missmoked. That's a really big deal because that's going to make it hard to cross, especially if you decide to off it. Cirque there. Oh, wow. Perfect shoulder peek from JKS and the kill through the door off of just the auditory information. Very nice. Nicely
done there. So he's able to find him. That evens the advantage back out again here. You can see these CTs trying to look for a way back in, but as it always is, it's very limiting to try and find your way back into this site when you don't have any smokes or anything to get you in. But Daps takes a big risk. It pays off. Naf just going to take the fight right here at the APC, and he brings it down to a 1v1 again. However, he wasn't expecting Daps to go out that quickly, so he does shut it down. He's going to even have time to go back for the op and everything since he's got a kit. NRG are going to get themselves a 6th as we head into the last round of the half.
This one, decisiveness, you can see pays off dramatically. Like that was a 4v2 or 3v2 situation, but because they decided to go so quickly, they actually were able to cross the site with the bomb, even with a missmoke, because they didn't allow for any time for the rotate. So here we see the ops doing work on B, however, like just very easy shots. They put themselves in good spots, made it very difficult for the T side offers to get any openings, or Nifty specifically, and overall, it was, you know, kind of hoping that they did get away with that great rotate back because it made a lot of sense. But, and also, the fact is that Daps kind of played that 2v1 a little strange. He, like, waited in the door. His Breeze was, like, fighting for kind of an extended period of time and then came in for the 1v1. Fortunately for them, won it, but maybe he wasn't fighting because he didn't have enough room to peek in the door with him. I'm not sure.
Well, like from the long-range smokes now as Renegades go for a quick setup, and it's probably going to be another quick execute out onto B this time, since obviously they still have enough money to fully buy into this last round. Breeze getting flash spamming into it. He just barely gets that kill on Justillo. Naf will obviously be there to trade him out just seconds later. Now Fugly trying to sneak back in. He can't get the kill quickly enough. Azure is going to be able to take down ANJ. That isolates most of the back site, so it's going to leave enough room for Renegades to go for a plant. He still has Cirque in the way, and Fugly sitting right behind the pizza box too, takes out Naf. So it looked like it was good for the Renegades, but all of a sudden, the tables turn. And it's not looking so good anymore. They are going to try this boost up on top of the big box. Seeing if JKS can do any work from up on top of here. You can tell he's a bit nervous to go any more forward. I think Cirque's even looking for it. On the other side, he might just be paying attention to the side angle from it. Thankfully, Renegades have so much time to play off of this. And oh, Cirque, you could see it from his perspective. He had just spotted that. Nifty gets the second kill too. So now, again, it's all on Daps, but he's already able to get that first kill. He knows he has Nifty low too. He's also low on ammo. And finally, he goes for the reload. Nifty crossing, just barely surviving the encounter. He's going to try to get up close to Personal to go for the kill, but Daps knows this is coming. He's also falling back, getting ready for this fight. Nifty has not fully peeked up yet, but what he does, he's got the CZ in hand, ready to take the fight. And that will secure a 9th round for the Renegades, closing out the first half. It's been a close one here, folks. Much different from the first map that we did see on Trade. Be sure to stick around, and we're going to be right back with the second half in just a moment.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, the City of Odense, GeForce GTX, Lenovo Legion, Bedway, Pay Safeguard, Logitech G, Mountain Dew League, Xfinity, and ESEA.
All right, we're back again here, folks. More action between Renegades and NRG here. We did see the first map going down, and it was a little bit one-sided, at least to start off in NRG's favor. But here in the second map on Cobblestone, things are going a little bit differently, as it is neck to neck, 9-6 at the moment in the favor of the Renegades, but that could change very quickly with one pistol round victory.
Yeah, that really can change it around, and obviously they do look fairly even, and that's kind of why you're alluding to possibly the second half maybe rocking back and forth in a similar fashion. It's hard to say if maybe NRG's T side will live up to what Renegades were able to put down on the table in the first half, because they looked pretty solid overall. But I'm kind of surprised at the way that NRG were kind of able to pick themselves back up in some of the more difficult rounds, and despite having their economy crush, still put 6 rounds on the board. So maybe making the most of the half and looking kind of solid overall.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a really good game, actually, because we've seen a series of, you know, really good decisions from some teams, really bad decisions from other teams, like NRG specifically, kind of overplaying their hand towards the A site quite a bit throughout that first half due to what we were seeing earlier on from the Renegades, that they kind of switched later on in the half to being more B-focused, but they corrected that. We're able to put together a few more rounds towards the end of it, and like I said, made it close 6-9.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, they did play 3A a lot of the times, and, you know, we're so alarmed by that because obviously Cobble's a map where people are so used to playing 4-1. Having one person watch A in a very passive way, or being able to like, give themselves a contingency plan to fall back, or having an op play from sight right out the gate, and instead they're playing 2 riflers and an op, and really hoping and assuming that Renegades were going to try to bully them at A constantly. And maybe we're a little bit too adamant about that, maybe a little too stubborn.
Yeah. Well, it looks like we are going into the second half here now, and as the sides switch, for those of you that are just joining us, Renegades is jumping onto the CT side, and NRG will be on T side. Getting into the matchup, however, we get very standard buys. I don't do anything too crazy here with the buys. And NRG propping up to pretty much just go straight forward into the B side, it looks like here. They do keep one player really far back out in the courtyard. I think it's A and J watching for an A long push, but they're definitely not going to get that, as Renegades pretty much have full focus on B right now to defend that with only one player waiting on A. In they go, taking drop control first. It's Cirque wasting no time going out the window still. JKS is able to hold for the first kill, but does get traded out right after that one. So they take control of this connector and are actually going to go for a very aggressive pinch on A, using drop as the main pushing force here. Nifty waiting up on the site. He's going to try to hold on to the best of his ability. He's trying to find a good position to play off of here too, looking for some headshots, but he cannot get anything. Breeze takes him down. Fugly claims a second kill, but Ustillo is also in the doorway to trade him out just a moment later, and now puts it into a 2v3. Naf maybe just saving Ustillo's life right there as he takes down Breeze, and that opens up the platform. Only keeping Daps alive sitting inside of this hallway here, but Naf sees him coming too, and now Anjay's going to try to sneak in, but he has just been spotted. They are going for the defuse. Anjay had a slight angle. He actually did kill the diffuser, but Naf is left with enough time. Just got to look for that kit before he jumps onto the bomb, and there we go. It is going to go into Renegades' hands as they'll be able to maintain their lead, at least starting off this half.
Yeah, overall it looked pretty good. They get the smoke on door, which makes it seem like you could either be doing a B hit straight up or El Clasico, drop to A.
Yeah.
I don't even know at this point what's a more iconic hit, the long V rush or drop to A. It's such a good idea. To, wow, nice shot from Naf. Daps seemed to have him, like he saw his shoulder a couple of times, but then kept kiting him for some reason, and then as soon as Naf peeks out wide enough, ends up being the 1v1 to close it out. So sometimes those pistol rounds, it really does just come down to these one or two specific duels each time.
And we did see NRG upsetting last half here too, because Renegades also won the pistol round in the last half, but then NRG won the next like 3 rounds after that. So we'll see if they can do that again. Not as many deagles coming into the buy for their second round this time, and you'll note once again, same as the last half, they don't buy into this super aggressively despite getting the plant. They do just basically go for the pistols here, and that's basically going to be it. So much more looking towards that third round buy, especially if they can get themselves a bit of an extra plan here. Doesn't start off too well though. Ustillo, he's able to push up there on Broken and find Anjay, who was kind of pushed out in the zone, and his teammates just not really able to support that because of the smoke setup here. They do boost Breeze up now to look for a trade. There's currently nothing to be seen. He will have to be very cautious, though, as this is a bit of a wide peak for this position. And if Naf and Ustillo both decide to swing out here, it could end very badly for the T's here, considering they're outgunned from this position. But regardless, NRG are going to start to push forward. Naf still sitting safely tucked away in that cubby, ready to fight these guys out. They check the corner, too, as they go in, but this is going to give credence for Naf to swing out, getting a nice little 1-2 punch, looking for the third. There we go. Ustillo actually helps out there as he claims the second kill, not Naf, but then Azur goes to the broken wall, gets the last kill, and it's a clean round for Renegades as they take it 11-6.
I actually really like that a lot, having Renegades smoking long B control, even on the eco round, just denying anybody from doing some kind of like contact bust or something where like pistols can gain ground for free. Why not keep them at the back of long, or show them that you know that nobody is anywhere in long so that they can worry about A, and anyone with a pistol will be like, all right, well, if we go A, it's going to be kind of obvious, and they're going to maybe just try to fight back against that. So I think if you're going to use a smoke, better off throwing it deep than off the back of the box a lot of the times, especially on these eco rounds.
As we get into this next round, regardless of the outcome of that previous round, NRG still has enough cash flow to buy, at least with AKs into this one. Utility for those that bought AKs is going to be relatively light, however, so you can see Daps being kind of the sacrifice buy. He downgrade themselves so they get a full suite of utility, at least on him. ANJ, however, this time is much more successful with his push out towards the broken wall there. He's able to take down Ustillo nice and early, and also knocks about half the HP off of Naf, too, so he's actually finding quite a bit of impact over there early on, compared to last round anyway.
Yeah, this is a 50-50 for me. This spot up here, it's, oh wow, Cirque's gonna be like crouching right under him. Everybody walking, and then he just dies. Wow, this is really funny. I mean, it's really ironic for Nifty, who loves doing walkouts. Like, will do that constantly. So he was in a spot where like he didn't have anyone to watch long, but was completely hoping that they would make noise, and they anti-stratted him basically by accident.
And Renegades, no, they have no chance of this considering their positions and just what they're up against over on that side, so they're all going to fall back outside towards T-spawn. Save their guns for the next round. They're obviously still going to have enough cash to force it up, but NRG will get on the board a little bit quickly this time as they go into the third round with a victory. And it'll be Renegades that have to look for the trade after this round.
They have the opportunity to make mistakes. I wonder if they'll be able to get away with anything like that in the future. Renegades will have a couple of rounds to play with, so I think it's okay for in their eyes that they did lose that round, even though it's kind of like a slap on the forehead, like, what was that? Getting shot in the back as someone like walks completely out of long A with 3 people behind him. But yeah, they can kind of go back, and they save 3 guns as well, so economically it's not going to put them back too much. NRG basically have a full buy across the board, one person having to rebuy, and Renegades are going to be aware of that. So as long as they put down three or more guns, or like win the round, they realize NRG are probably going to have to save after this round.
So into the round we do go. Renegades now splitting their players up in actually pretty much the same exact fashion as they did in the last round here, although a little bit more aggressively this time, especially towards A, with Nifty pushing out all the way to the edge of long A here. And then JKS sitting not too far behind to support him if needed. The smoke goes in. The molly also gets bounced out for NRG here as they try to force anyone that would be hiding out in those hay barrels to fall back, but oof, smoke does kill it, and that nade goes in. was an okay amount of damage, about 50-ish total between the 3 players that it hits. And Nifty just actually was right for the push this time, assuming that nobody watching that at that point, but it's not the case. Breeze checks him out, takes him down, and that will give NRG the early advantage to play off of here as they start to shift more of their players into the B halls.
That's actually something that SK do a good job of, is knowing when to reaggress. And we see that NRG have actually left long A. Nifty could have had a big flank in that situation, but he timed it a little bit poorly, and it's kind of a gamble or just luck-based, but because he mistimed it, ends up dying, and NRG are a little more attentive at A now.
Yeah, now Renegades don't really have a clue about where exactly this hit's going to come from. Even this drop presence they're seeing now could just potentially be a setup for a split towards A, like we saw on the pistol. So they have to keep, even splits. Oh my God, Azur! So well done as he goes in, kills the top player first, and then quickly adjusts, and now, with the flash supporting it, for some reason, NRG just didn't turn around at all, so Ustillo busts right out, shuts down NRG. Cirque's going to be in here, kills at least 1 player on the flank, but he doesn't expect to find a second player in the steps. He waits until what could have potentially been more players push past before Naf decides to fire it out, so that'll take down Cirque, and all of a sudden, it's just Breeze left alive in a 1v3, and he's only got 20 seconds. The bomb is way too far away. There's no way he's going to be able to go back and get that in time. He knows he can't really win this round, so he's just going to hide out and shed and try to survive for as long as possible.
Man, by the way he played that, it didn't seem like Azur was truly convinced that there was someone who had dropped, because he looked up first. But by the way he threw that flash, he gave himself options. I mean, that was sick. Yeah, let's watch that back.
There it is, goes in, and so quick on that first kill too.
Yeah, I think, does Daps even, Daps is like falling back there. I don't know if he had like something to throw, but gets Fugly to turn around while he like kills his teammate. Damn.
Just so well played.
Yeah, so well played.
That's such a quick reaction too, because like you said, he probably didn't know that someone was already down. Players do a pretty good job of masking that nowadays.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see that like shot or two that they do when falling.
Yeah, it's kind of like ladder, just like different. You got to do different things every single time to change it up.
Well, into the next round, as unfortunately NRG do have to drop that one due to some unfortunate circumstances, even though they started off well there. Renegades had no clue what they were doing up until that point. They had the, the 1 player tricked out at A long and everything like that. It was set up even to a 5v4 in their favor, but gets thrown away. So Renegades keep it together. Now they're just 4 rounds away from being able to close out on this map. Naf getting a little bit aggressive again here, though, as he quickly switches over. Oh, he was too far outside the cubby, though, so he can't fall back in time. And, once again, NRG will be able to start off with the first kill, bringing it down to a 5v4. Heavily set up towards drop this time. So we've got 3 players waiting in those B halls, and you can see the 2-man team here now lurking up Suicide, trying to get their way over towards the A site. Renegades, despite going down early on here, still actually have a pretty decent setup depending on how NRG decide to shift their players. We can see Azur up on counter boost. It did look like they were going to partially drop split a moment ago, but that's no longer the case, and now that lets, who I believe is Azur, go all the way up on top. Nifty's also killed ANJ on the flank. Oof. JKS now knows there's pressure coming in from A-Long, so we should start to see more dominant rotates, but JKS fully peeks and adapts there. And Breeze also took down Ustillo as he was trying to wrap further into the site too. So Renegades very quickly lose what could have been a great defensive setup. Cirque's even going to find this flank from Azur. All that's left alive now is Nifty, and he's certainly not going to attempt to clutch this, so look to save. And that's it, as NRG will claim an 8th round.
Man, the round was so different when Nifty got that kill. They had they initiated that boost. They turned that boost into a quick big flank because they had the info on A. Now they knew that long B was clear and drop was clear. Top drop, that is. And then they had Azur like ready to go, but because JKS dies peeking stables just as that happens, he's anticipating someone to come out long, but because Daps wins that duel, just suddenly everything's changed. The one guy on A is killed. The guy who was boosting Azur at drop is a little bit too late, wasn't able to come in like 2 or 3 seconds earlier, and Nifty, the guy who like set everything off, is all the way in B site, hoping his teammates are going to meet him halfway.
Well, full save here at the start for Renegades. They're going to try some interesting stuff. It works out, at least to start, as they find Daps, and then Breezy goes Ted hunting as he moves out quickly, knocks out Azur and JKS. And also finds Ustillo there a few seconds later too. Nifty is still alive, and now he's got the Nova, and he comes out on top actually against ANJ. So ANJ is not going to be happy with the way that pans out, as Naf now gets a bit of an upgrade. He's out. He's also done the last man standing, and Breeze is on the cusp of an ace here too, but he's on the other side of the map, so odds are he'll walk out here. And Cirque or Fugly will spot him. He may actually have a chance for this though, as Breeze is not moving any closer there towards Connector, as I think he's trying to look for Naf, who potentially could have fallen back as well, in addition to kind of going forward here. But Naf also not really being given much of an angle to take down either of these NRG players, basically just stuck hiding in the corner.
Oh my god, if he had a kit, I feel like he'd have some options right now because of the way they're playing it. And they're starting to leave. Oh, well, it looks like aim punch still pretty strong. His crosshair went way up. I was like using it.
Cool, because it was on for the MDL land that happened last weekend too. And
Yeah.
it was active during that.
Right.
And it did seem like it was that for some reason that play right there seemed like it was way more active than some of the other ones that I'd seen last weekend.
Yeah, because when I was using it, I actually have.
You get pretty good control now with it when you get punched.
Like even in a lot of pugs, I've just been buying like AK or M4 no armor just to see what it's like, and have managed to get kills that I would have felt completely uncomfortable doing it before the update. So, but yeah, there it looked like you had no chance. So maybe it was just too close to the head, and there was like more aim punch or something like that.
Yeah, it's probably something like that. But as we get into this next round here, both teams back up to somewhat full force. Renegades still have to downgrade their buys slightly. As you can see, either lacks utility or downgrade to an ump so they can have a little bit more. Nifty is going to strike first, however, with an aggressive push out towards A-Long. Takes down Breeze, and I doubt Breeze threw any smokes or anything, so we should know that the rest of A-Long is cleared out too. And that'll give validity for the rest of these players to still remain stacked on the B-bomb site with this 4-man setup that they have currently, which is obviously going to make the execute a little bit harder for NRG here.
Yeah,
basically just going to have to go into an even fight.
No one pushing because no one has to. Naf is a really strong spot as well with drop. And with 2 people at drop, knowing that if one person dies, he's still good, he can stay up a tree and use this very powerful angle on players coming out long B. The smokes and flashes are coming out. The counter nades as well. We're kind of low on utility for the terrorists. Great positions for all the CTs.
Naf right now just hiding behind the tree. Unfortunately, he's going to get flashed. We can't really take the peek until a bit of a delay, but thankfully the delay works out. Oh, he almost swings around to get that kill too. But he goes down. Cirque claims a quick frag. JKS stops him from getting out into the site though, so it is all down to Cirque. And as he moves it, he's got a 1v2. He's got 25 seconds to plant. He's going to go right up for the fight here, too. Right inside. That would have been so nice if it hit. But JKS was ready to take that battle, and that secures another round for the CT side. Yeah, secures another round, puts 2 ops in their hands, and NRG are going to be buying here. So they're going to be buying with kind of low utility into ops. I mean, there's probably going to be a lot of dry peaks, and that's just going to favor Renegades so much more. So overall, like, Renegades have strong control of that round. They didn't push when they didn't need to. They got their 5v4. And with all their ducks in a row, didn't have to move very much. Drop control is very important in that situation. Daps was able to get 1 kill, which made the round a lot closer because Naf obviously goes down on top of drop, but here's Nifty getting that opening frag, and that's the problem with having low utility. Rest of the T's still going to try to push forward here, though, as this flash goes out. JKS, oh, he's blind, but nobody's checking this corner. He's got a free ticket to at least 1 kill. Makes it 2, tries to go for 3, does do at least a little bit of damage to Fugly, but Fugly, he's doing his best to stay in the arena right now as he gets a second. Right after picking up that first kill, he's also able to eliminate Azur. Ustilo decides not to peek out from the doorway, so he's not going to be given a chance to kill him just yet. And now ANJ joins the fight. He's able to smoke off that doorway, give a little bit more safety to Fugly here, as these two will try to pull off a disadvantaged engagement here and push up to the site. The site itself is actually relatively open right now with the slow rotates from Renegades. It's only, who's that sitting in the site? It's only Nifty, really, they do have to deal with, but regardless, NRG are playing it as slow as they are. Still a minute left on the clock. They are going to weigh their options a little bit more, falling back all the way into the connector. Kind of just camping out here for right now. Yeah, 45 seconds left. Not many options. 3 players up, 2 ops, and therefore rotates again. Very comfortable position for Renegades. They don't have to move much. They've got 1 player in the middle of them just to kind of grease that. Nifty's being nifty and kind of playing like a little bit aggressive for some reason, but this is his comfort zone, so sometimes you want that. Though his teammates are kind of leaving him alone here. He could die. I mean, we'll see. This is where he's comfortable, so he's ready to take this fight in particular, and he hits the shot too. And he knows what the second player is. Just trying to take a bit of a guess shot there, which will lead to him dying, actually. But the thing is, they don't have a smoke anymore for the road. Actually, he did have a smoke, but he chose not to use it. Regardless, goes into the site and kills Naf. We should know he's on the cusp of an ace here too, but he's still he's smart. He reads into what's happening. He's able to push forward, even denies the plant too. Oh yeah, Fugly would have actually just gotten an ace. That's pretty cool. I think, yeah, the smoke, he thought, okay, it's going to take too long to try to smoke across this. Maybe if I can also get this into a 1v1, it'd be worth it. But yeah, here, this is really tough because they think they killed the guy who played this position already. And then JKS is here as a second man, and another out in the round gets 2 to make up for both him and his teammate. And this is a pretty poor economical situation for NRG to be in here too, considering the scoreline. They don't really have a choice because they are down by like 5 rounds now, so it's not really worth it to save here and then try to run 6 straight. They force it. They're going to see if they can upset. And oh, Daps just barely catching Ustilo to start. Naf quickly trades from Chicken. and is going to look for more kills too. As Azur also chimes in here. It's just not happening for NRG. It started off all right, but they couldn't keep the pressure rolling, and very, very quickly the trades continue to move in for the Renegades here. Now it's down to just 2. Scratch that 1 player, as Fugly is the last man standing with only 2 HP in a 1v4. Should absolutely be Renegades going up to 15 rounds here.
I do like that Renegades or NRG didn't use the long B rush like over and over again, and it's something that like it can work, especially if you like win a bunch of rounds in a row. You need something new to do. Sometimes a straight up long B hit can be great, especially if the other team's on low utility. Instead, NRG kind of saved it for a position where they've kind of tried everything else. They've worked that slow default quite often and need to try to pull out a round with not very much to work with. And sometimes long B can be a good option there, but overall, solid hold from Renegades. They didn't have much trouble dealing with it.
So Fugly just trying his best to stay alive here at this point. Hopefully hunting down at least 1 or 2 more players before getting eliminated. And more so setting his team up for a potential comeback if they should win this next upset round, and then try to do 6 rounds straight that would be needed in order to take this to OT here now, as the clutch is very much not going to be a possibility, especially considering the time factor that's now an issue for him. And I think, yeah, he's just going to swing out here. He does get very close to killing Naf, but won't be able to succeed in doing that. So only 1 goes down for Renegades on that round.
Yeah, not much they can do. They have $2 grand apiece. They're going to be buying up nades and CZs, and yeah, going to be kind of a tattered buy versus a very well stocked Renegades. Everybody's got kits. You still buy a kit? Get a kit, you have the money. It probably won't come down to that. They don't have a single rifle, so this could be the last round of the game. It seems like it should be. Nifty going out for a very aggressive pick through the Molotov. Somehow misses, takes 60 damage as well, and has to fall back, but stared into about 3 sets of eyes.
At least he got intel.
Yeah, intel indeed.
But that intel's not going to be much in a few moments here. It looks like NRG, because they got spotted, end up swinging pretty much all of their player base inside of the B halls, which is probably going to lead to another B execute. ANJ obviously has an advanced position sitting on the right side cubby, but I think Naf sort of expects this. It hasn't been the first time that ANJ went to this position, and he has very much been that forward player for NRG throughout most of this half. They'll get ready to push in. Renegades are already rotating over towards this site. They've got a 2-man setup and drop, a 3rd one very much at the door in A, ready to rotate. Although he's moving closer towards long now, but anyway, it might not even be needed at the end of the day anyway. Azur's already shut down 1. Naf is sitting in this cubby, which I don't really think NRG's been checking all that much. Flash comes out from the CTs. And Naf doesn't spot much yet. This actually might send a few of the CTs back the other way. Oh, now he sees ANJ though. But that's kind of expected, so that's not going to cause any of the rotates from A just yet, since ANJ's almost always been there throughout this half. Serrato's smoke just trying to delay things for a little bit longer, but the T's do have the window still smoked. So that's going to cause some curiosity, and allows for you still to push back in. This time, though, not as much success. We do see Naf trading it out, and Fugly's frozen in time, and there's some weird shadow on the left side. Is that a footstep?
Why is Fugly throwing out gang signs? I just don't understand.
I'm more curious about what that shadow is.
Yeah.
Is that a footstep?
It's kind of creepy.
It's interesting.
Where's Breeze going? He's on the move.
He's going to, he's trying to run. All right. Well, I believe what happened here, guys, we had the good old GoTV bug that sometimes happens with those servers there, where the GoTV kind of cuts out like prematurely about 30 seconds before the final round ends. But we did see Renegades close that one out, so they're going to be able to take control of it 16-9. And I believe that was the score that Jordan had called as the exact prediction, actually. So he had a pretty good prediction there.
I mean, I was technically right, too. Somebody won.
Yeah, that's true, I suppose. So both these teams putting up a good fight. Obviously, a much better battle that we had going on than what was happening on Train, where both teams kind of just slumping on their T sides for the most part. We had some really good rounds really from both teams in this map, and hopefully we saw the best from both teams here too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed. And Renegades just more control overall. So
yeah. All right. Well, it looks like the analysts are ready to break down this second map. Let's send it over to them.
Yeah, a much more happy and fluidly functioning family over there on the Renegades. Renegades. The Renegades. There we go, Renegades. How about that one?
Whoa.
Check it out. So they come alive.
Create a shirt.
Come alive in the second map. Train they stumbled on. What went right for them here?
They just know how to play the map in total more. It seems like they have a lot more depth on what they call, why they call. It's kind of like that deep playbook where once you kind of get a read on how the CTs are playing, you can kind of manipulate them in what they're fearful of, right? Like it's like, oh, hey, let's take a halls a lot early on in the half with gun rounds, and if we're successful, we can use that as fakes, right? So it's kind of like you know what you're going to do if things are successful or if they're unsuccessful. And they kind of played the half to a T like that, even though NRG kind of had like a little spurt in the middle of the first half. But you could just tell Renegades had it down pat.
Let's take a look at that round 5. It's a fast A-Halls. There's A-Halls control here. Walk me through it, guys.
So what you see here is you have one guy going towards B, probably throwing an Olaf smoke. I can't really tell from here, but that's basically what everyone does. And then you're going to have somebody flash into mid to help them cross. And the 3 guys are going to take A-Halls fast. And I think it's Ustila doing his trademark running backwards as the flash is about to entry him. Yeah, see him right there. And you can just tell that they have like a reason for all their nades and who's holding what angle, right? You see Nifty holding that angle towards Cirque. It's just kind of like the canonical way of taking A-Halls control with 3 people, getting that A-Halls smoke control down.
Standard, yeah.
Yeah, this is like, there's a few ways of throwing the nades in the patterns, and let's just say that, you know, they have a way of taking this round really, really well. And basically, this leads to how they play the rest of the half, right? So if they were to succeed in this round, they're going to make a choice off it. If they don't succeed in taking A-Halls, they know what choice they're going to make next round.
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to spend any shortage of time here looking at our next one. It's going to be a round 6. It's going to be a teeter-totter here. And really, I guess, what are we looking at when we load this up?
Well, I guess for starters, as James mentioned, that first gun round kind of sets the structure for the half, right, where they're putting pressure on B early. So you do see JKS over at B, I think, by himself right initially. He's taking B control. Right away in the beginning of the round, they threw nades bottom mid, they push back bottom mid, they Molotov daps in that bottom mid corner. Basically what this is doing is they're taking A control while keeping an eye on B, pushing back the guys at A. As you see right now, it's forcing 2 guys at A because they can't have info unless they want to retake mid. At this point, all that Renegades have to do is make sure they have a plan right now. As JKS flashes back Ange, they have to know what their next step is, which it looks like is to take drop control. I actually think this is an inadvisable smoke from Ange because they could have been moving up. Me and Marcus were talking about that as it happened. He could have asked for that flash previously and maybe got a kill, saved that smoke a little longer. Regardless, Renegades now pushes back both the sites. The only thing I didn't actually like about this round is that they let that guy be plat stay there and they didn't have someone fight. But regardless, they were able to take back A. They still have utility and they did damage, so they're coming up into a clean A take. And I think overall, rounds like that show why I think Cbble in general makes it easier for teams to play a Cbble map like this. Not taking anything away from Renegades, they're doing a good job. But I think that's why I was confident more in Renegades on a map like this, because it's easier to kind of set that up. They could take mid control, they could take B plat control. I think actually there's more room for improvement there. But you see the overall was more decisive than Train, and it allows for easier strategic kind of moves.
Yeah, I also would have liked to see a little bit, I mean, I hate to use the word, but like puggy plays by NRG and on the A-Halls, right? Like they're playing back at APC and in the site with 1:10 left on the clock. Like, well, you know, if you were to present them that idea, like, do you actually want to be doing this with no nades left? Like, they would probably all say no.
I'm thinking you saw that Daps got mollied bottom mid early. I feel like he just kind of got a pressure and like we're just gonna gamble that they're not coming here, and then he was kind of floaty, ready to go B quick. Yeah, I agree with you. Though.
Gamble, nades. All synonymous words with our next next replay we're gonna be looking at here. Round number 10 actually. It's gonna be a smoke play here, and James, I think you had picked this one out for us to take a look at.
Yeah, I picked this one out kind of to go with my theme of like conditioning the CTs. So if you look at the radar, you see 3 people playing towards A with a minute left on the clock. So it's pretty late round, right? 3 people at A, and they do the NIP smokes, and they split, I think, like 2 or 3 through drop. 1 goes through window, kind of as like a flanky type thing. And basically, they're just using the early part of the half to set up a relatively simple exec, right? Like, sure, the nip smokes are like look really cool and hard. Like, they did a lot of work finding them out, and everyone now steals them, right? But you know, you set them up, you pummel them at A, and now they have to overplay A. And it just makes it so easy.
I think going back to just like I said, the map, right? You're able to throw execs. What can you do on Train? Throw the smokes over and throw the smokes into inside. But generally on Cbble, you could kind of create that wall. On Train, you can see where the smokes are coming from. You can move, see over them. So I think overall on Cbble, NRG just looks, or Renegades just looks a little bit more comfortable to me. A little bit of variety in strats, a little bit of explosiveness. You still this kind of map seems to favor him because when you're really close, it would be like a map like Inferno or something where you have the smokes and you're jumping right through them. You still loves doing that. So, what did I say, boys? 16-9. I don't, I'm not tooting my own horn here, but if we had one,
I'll toot it for you.
Yeah. All right. Outstanding.
Oh, I would. No way.
Anyway, yeah, I think you're definitely onto something there with the comfortability. You could definitely see it within Renegades, especially a player like Nifty coming out, also gunning his way through on Cbble. Difference showing from Nifty than on Train.
If I had to like kind of wrap it up and give like a contrast to it, it'd be like the reason they're good at Cobble is probably the reason they'd be not so good at a map like Overpass, right? It's really hard to just set up for free execs on a map like Overpass on T side.
Well, if you're just now joining us, head over to youtube.com/ESLCS where you can watch this VOD, the one right before it. You can watch the next two, but just make sure you head over there, hit the subscribe button, follow along in the Action for ESL Pro League on the road.
That button.
Just do it.
Road to
immediately.
Smashing buttons. And that's how we're living around here. Anyway, we're going to see these two teams in Renegades and, Renegades and NRG split maps. We're going to be going into CLG and SK is going to be our next two maps, so make sure you don't go anywhere. I'm pretty sure this one's going to be
Could be exciting.